Okay, Imam Sadiq also had an aura to him. This was expressed by Abu Hanifa. Once, Imam Sadiq, when he went to Iraq, he was invited by Al-Mansur. You see, when the Abbasis came to power, there was this hope in the block of people who were Shi'is that now a government has come that can be much more understanding and sympathetic to the Alawi cause. In that time, that was what it was called. So in that climate, Al-Imam Al-Sadiq went to Abu Jafar al-Mansur, and Abu Hanifa was also invited. And Abu Hanifa describes the aura that Al-Imam Al-Sadiq had to such an extent. Abu Hanifa said Abu Jafar al-Mansur was insignificant. He didn't even realize or pay attention to him at all. He's the king, but he was just like nothing. And he said, I felt this aura of Al-Imam Al-Sadiq on this particular occasion. As far as the fiqh of Imam Al-Sadiq, when it comes down to some issues, there's so many similarities between his fiqh and the other four main fuqaha or five main fiqhs of Islam, that there are some that are just a little stand out, just to give you a flavor of what sets it apart in some minor issues. Like al-talaq. Some Sunni schools of thought say that, some fuqaha say that if you say talaqtuki, talaqtuki, talaqtuki 3 times, this is the whole process of talaq consumed in 3 words. Talaq is a process. It takes 3 cycles of talaq. Each cycle begins with the word talaqtuki. This could be a matter of a year. It could be a matter of several years. So, Al-Imam Al-Sadiq and the Jafari school of thought say that can't be. Even if it is said 3 times, it only represents 1 cycle. It can't represent the 3 cycles for a consummate talaq. Now, do I have to explain how this is, or you're familiar with talaq and what happens?
Very familiar.
Very familiar, okay. Hope you don't have many wives. So what happened was that there's some Islamic schools of thought that are fiqhi, that are Sunni in their fiqh, that reconsidered this. They reconsidered this because of an opinion of Ibn Taymiyyah. And Ibn Taymiyyah is considered to be a major Salafi figure. But Ibn Taymiyyah, by his own words, said that he extracted his opinion from the fiqh of Ahl al-Bayt. That's his own words. The other issue is the mut'ah. This is what is referred to as temporary marriage. There's a disagreement between the Sunni. All Sunni schools of thought do not concede the concept of mut'ah. They disagree with it. Even though recently, in the past 10-15 years, because the Saudi Arabians and Emiratis and Kuwaitis and all these who have a lot of money have been traveling a lot, so they've been coming down hard on their scholars. Find for us something that will permit us to have a temporary relationship with women, let's say in the US or Europe or wherever other place we may go. So these scholars, on orders, instructions from these officials, they began digging in the books of fiqh. They found something called Zawaj al-Misyar. It's another name, but the concept is exactly the same as mut'a in the Shia school of thought. So there's something called zawaj al-misyar. You can marry a woman for a limited amount of time, give her dower, and after that amount of time is over, she goes her way, you go your way, provided she's not pregnant, because pregnancy has the responsibilities that follow. So they found something like that. But anyways, omitting that, this recent development here, this concept of temporary marriage is something even in the Shi'i Ithna Ashari school of thought. Of course, most of the scholars say that this is a valid enactment of a relationship between a man and a woman, even though it may be for a couple of days or a very short time period. But the Zaydi Shi'is disagree in the majority of their scholars with this concept. And for those of you who may want to think about this in the future, there's a ayah in the Quran. Of course, the Shi'i scholars, in rationalizing the mut'a, use those words of the Quran, فَمَا اسْتَمْتَعْتُمْ بِهِ مِنْهُنَّ فَآتُوهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ, which means in exchange for the conjugal relationship you men have with them, meaning in reference to the women who enter into this relation with you, then in exchange for that you have to be forthcoming financially towards them. They use this as a justification for this relationship. But there's an ayah in the Quran that I have the impression is avoided by these same scholars who advocate for al-mut'a. The ayah says, مُحْصِنِينَ غَيْرَ مُسَافِحِينَ وَلَا مُتَّخِذِي أَخْدَانِ. The word khadan, the plural is akhdan, is one of these words that doesn't figure into a concentration of thought by Shia scholars. I would invite them to take a closer look at this ayah and the other ayah that says وَأَخَذْنَا مِنْكُمْ مِيثَاقًا غَلِيظًا. أَخَذْنَا is nun and niswa at the end, which means your wives have extracted from you a mithaq ghalidh. This mithaq ghalidh cannot be a relationship of 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 months. That's not a mithaq ghalidh. So there's no Quranic justification for this relationship. How this all came about, once again, it needs some people who can do sufficient research for us to bring out the facts here. But generally speaking, when there's oppression, a lot of things can come about.
What was the first verse that you mentioned against Mut'a?
مُحْصِنِينَ غَيْرَ مُسَافِحِينَ وَلَا مُتَّخِذِي أَخْدَانِ. I think I'm going to have to stop here because I simply went over time, and there's a few other things that I wanted to say, but you got the gist of it. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه.